Fame is an elusive shadow, and sometimes that shadow vanishes before we even understand its depth. The Weeknd, an enigmatic figure who captivated millions, seems to be slowly erasing not just his persona, but the very essence of his musical journey. Why, after reaching the pinnacle of success, is he choosing to step back? What led this once mysterious artist to such a profound transformation? Buckle up as we delve into the dramatic ups and downs of Abel Tesfaye's life, uncovering the motivations behind the shifting tides of the Weeknd and what lies beyond the spotlight. Abel Tesfaye, better known by his stage name The Weeknd, hails from Scarborough, a diverse district in Toronto, Canada. Born on February 16, 1990, he was the product of an Ethiopian immigrant family. Abel's childhood wasn't a fairy tale. His father left when he was just a baby, leaving his mother and grandmother to raise him. This absence instilled a longing for connection in Abel from an early age, which would later reflect in his music. His upbringing was steeped in culture. Ethiopian traditions molded his early experiences, with weekends often reserved for family gatherings and cultural events. Yet, the household was not without its challenges. Financial struggles were a regular part of life, pushing Abel to seek solace in an alternate reality. School became an escape for him, but his sense of isolation deepened as he entered his teenage years. By the time he was 11, Abel found himself turning to drugs, an attempt to numb the emotional pain of his circumstances. Feeling misunderstood and disconnected from his peers, he sought refuge in the raw expression of music. Diving into music during his late teens became not just a passion, it was a necessity. In an effort to reinvent himself, he dropped out of high school and began frequenting underground parties in the city. It was here that Abel merged his experiences, troubles, and inspirations into a creative outlet, giving birth to The Weeknd, a name that symbolized his escape from the drudgery of life into something more profound and impactful. This origin story sets the stage for the haunting, atmospheric sounds and lyrics that would eventually captivate millions across the globe, revealing that the path to stardom isn't always glamorous, but often rooted in personal struggle and resilience. A troubled youth. Abel Tesfaye's teenage years were far from ordinary. By the age of 11, the pressures of life began to weigh heavily on his young shoulders. He turned to drugs as an escape, seeking solace in substances that dulled the pain of his reality. While most kids were busy with homework and hanging out after school, Abel was drawn into a world filled with late nights and reckless behavior, searching for something that felt real. School became a distant memory, a place where he felt out of place and lost. By 17, he made a bold choice that would shape the trajectory of his life. He dropped out. What might have seemed like a reckless decision was actually a turning point for the aspiring artist. With each passing day, Abel dove deeper into the vibrant underground music scene of Toronto, where the beats were raw and the lyrics reflected the struggles of a generation searching for identity. Friendships formed in that chaotic backdrop provided a sense of family he desperately needed. They bonded over shared experiences, the thrill of creating music, and the heartbreaking stories that fueled their creativity. Abel's music became an outlet, a mirror reflecting his inner turmoil, filled with haunting melodies highlighting his loneliness and longing for connection. But this troubled youth wasn't just a passive participant in his fate. He emerged from these years fully aware of the complexity of his life and the choices he made, ready to channel that turbulence into a powerful creative force. With dreams dancing on the edge of his mind, Abel began to carve out his path, determined to turn his pain into an art form that resonated far beyond the streets he knew. But how did this raw, unfiltered journey lead to the birth of The Weeknd? The story was just beginning, and the next chapter would shock everyone. The birth of The Weeknd. In the shadows of Toronto's vibrant music scene, a new sound was waiting to be born. It was 2011, and while many artists were vying for the mainstream spotlight, one enigmatic figure was quietly crafting his identity. Abel Tesfaye, the man behind The Weeknd, emerged almost like a ghost, captivating listeners with the raw honesty of his lyrics and his haunting voice. Fueled by a mixture of heartbreak and escapism, he began releasing music that felt both familiar and disconcertingly different. The world first caught a glimpse of The Weeknd through 3 mixtapes: House of Balloons, Thursday, and Echoes of Silence. These weren't just collections of songs, they were immersive experiences. The blend of R&B, electronic, and avant-garde sounds transported listeners into a night filled with late-night revelations and emotional confessions. He used vivid storytelling to depict the highs and lows of life, love, and the struggle for identity, ensuring an instant connection with anyone who heard his work. But what really set him apart was his decision to remain an enigma. As he hid behind a veil of anonymity, fans became increasingly fascinated. Who was this artist shrouded in mystery? Rumors circulated, intensifying the allure of his music. In interviews, he remained cryptic, adding fuel to the fire of speculation. His choices in fashion and aesthetics, from dark, brooding visuals to cryptic performances, created a persona that felt larger than life. With his eerie yet seductive soundscapes, The Weeknd transformed the landscape of modern music, paving the way for a new era of R&B. As his story unfolded with each mixtape, listeners couldn't help but be drawn in. They were not just fans, they were part of something profound, an exploration of vulnerability and passion. But the true turning point came when he decided to collaborate with fellow Toronto artist Drake. This partnership opened doors, leading to features on major tracks and a newfound visibility. Nevertheless, The Weeknd always managed to forge his path, turning collaborations into stepping stones rather than crutches. He wasn't just rising, he was crafting his legacy. As his mixtapes gained traction and fans clamored for more, The Weeknd solidified his identity, not just as a musician, but as an artist who would challenge conventions and rewrite the rules of fame. But that was just the beginning. With the world eagerly awaiting what he would do next, Abel was about to rise to heights few could ever reach. And the journey was only just getting started. Rising to fame. In an age where countless artists are drowned out in the noise of social media, The Weeknd's ascent was nothing short of mesmerizing. He kicked off 2011 by releasing his first mixtape, House of Balloons, which seamlessly blended moody R&B with atmospheric production, instantly capturing listeners' attention. With this project, he not only established a signature sound, but also caught the eye of industry giants. But here's the twist. It was a grassroots movement. Zero marketing, just pure music. Fans began sharing his tracks, sparking a wave of intrigue surrounding this mysterious voice who refused to show his face. The turning point came when Abel's music landed on Drake's Take Care album, a generous nod from one of the biggest names in the industry. It positioned him alongside other prominent artists, but still, he wanted to carve his own path. The release of his second mixtape, Thursday, solidified his status as a force to be reckoned with, and by the time Echoes of Silence came out, he was no longer just a name in the underground scene. He had exploded into the mainstream. With hits like Wicked Games and Loft Music, fans were further captivated by his haunting lyrics and emotive performances, completely redefining R&B. In 2015, he shocked the world with the release of Beauty Behind the Madness. Featuring chart-topping tracks like The Hills and Can't Feel My Face, it shot straight to the top, solidifying his place in contemporary music. Audiences were not only drawn to the catchy beats, but also the raw vulnerability that flowed through every lyric. But it wasn't just about the music, it was his persona. The Weeknd thrived on the mystique he created around himself, never revealing too much, always leaving fans wanting more. The more elusive he became, the more fans were drawn in. He seized the spotlight and transformed it into a shining moment of artistry that had everybody talking. As he performed live, his stage presence was nothing short of electric. Each show felt like a secret concert, inviting fans into his world while still shrouded in enigma. The air was thick with anticipation as they collectively lost themselves in his soulful sounds. It wasn't just a concert, it was an experience that blurred the lines between reality and dream. And just as he reached unprecedented heights, questions began to swirl. Was his early music a mere glimpse into a much darker psyche? What did it cost him to soar so high? The allure intensified. Fans furiously debated his lyrical depth, and critics praised his originality. But that wasn't the whole story. behind the stardom was a struggle he'd continue to face: collaboration with Drake. The partnership between The Weeknd and Drake was a crucial turning point in Abel's career. It all began back in 2011 when Drake featured some of Abel's tracks on his own SoundCloud. In one move, he spotlighted a rising star. But this collaboration came with a twist. Abel contributed to Drake's critically acclaimed album, Take Care, giving half his songs away, a strategic move that launched him into the limelight. However, this partnership also posed a challenge. Despite the success, Abel felt constrained by the shadows of Drake's colossal fame. He craved independence and artistic freedom, leading him to carve out his own path. While many expected him to stay tethered to Drake's umbrella, Abel made a bold choice. He stepped out on his own. This decision not only solidified his identity, but set the stage for the emergence of a new sound that would soon enthrall millions. As the years unfolded, they intersected on stage and in studios, but steeped in rivalry and friendship, a balancing act that continually fueled speculation about their relationship. The narrative surrounding this iconic collaboration showcases a pivotal moment in modern music, two forces colliding and ultimately pushing each other to greater heights. What's next for The Weeknd? Spoiler alert, this was only the beginning. The leap to stardom. In 2015, something extraordinary happened. The Weeknd, previously a shadowy figure emerging from the underground scene, went from anonymity to superstardom almost overnight. It all began with his album, Beauty Behind the Madness, a project that simultaneously showcased his unique sound while wrapping his audience in emotive storytelling. The lead single, Can't Feel My Face, took the world by storm, dominating charts globally. Critics and fans alike were mesmerized by not only The Weeknd's smooth vocals, but also the infectious rhythm that blurred the lines between R&B and mainstream pop. Suddenly, everyone wanted to know more about the artist behind this melodic sensation. Who is this enigmatic figure? But that was just part of the journey. Accompanying Can't Feel My Face was The Hills, a dark and pulsating anthem, perfect for late-night encounters. This contrast between light and shadow perfectly encapsulated the duality that became a signature of his music. The Weeknd's ability to convey both ecstasy and despair hooked listeners, leaving them craving more. As streams skyrocket and radio play becomes a part of daily life, he performed at major events like the MTV Video Music Awards and the Grammy Awards. Each performance was electrifying, filled with theatrical elements that matched the intensity of his lyrics. He wasn't just an artist, he was an experience. And the plunge into stardom didn't come without its challenges. With newfound fame, pressures mounted, expectations grew, and personal struggles began to unravel in public. Yet, despite the spotlight's glare, The Weeknd maintained control over his narrative, choosing to navigate this world on his terms. But the climb was just beginning. Despite achieving success, fans wondered, how would he continue to elevate his artistry? That question lingered as he prepared to shift gears once again, setting the stage for his next dramatic transformation and reinvention. In 2016, the world witnessed something remarkable: the rebirth of The Weeknd. With the album Starboy, Abel not only solidified his spot in the music industry, but also reinvented himself. This transformation was more than just a change of sound. It was a bold statement. He dived into new musical styles, merging pop, R&B, and electronic vibes that showcased his versatility. The title track, Starboy, featuring the iconic Daft Punk, propelled him even further into mainstream consciousness. But it wasn't just about the music. His visual aesthetic evolved too. With sleek visuals in music videos and live performances, he embraced a darker, more mysterious persona. The Weeknd's fashion sense shifted, blending high-fashion elements with street style, leading fans to take sartorial notes from him. However, this reinvention wasn't without controversy. Critics pointed out a distinct shift in his lyrical themes. Previously synonymous with heartbreak and anguish, The Weeknd now infused elements of fame, excess, and even the darker sides of success. Was this an overflow of confidence, or merely a reflection of his newfound lifestyle? His transformation opened up questions of authenticity. And what happened next would shock everyone. Amidst this newfound fame, whispers of Abel's internal struggles began surfacing. Behind the glamorous facade lay an artist grappling with the very essence of self-identity. But as he navigated the spaces between celebration and isolation, it became clear Abel was evolving. His upcoming projects hinted at deeper explorations of these themes. Thus, with every note, he left listeners on their toes, eagerly anticipating where the next chapter would take him. As fans wondered about his journey, Abel's evolution continued to reflect a quest for clarity amidst chaos. Would his next transformation redefine the narrative yet again? Stay tuned, because the real story is just beginning. Facing heartbreak often serves as a profound catalyst for artists, and for Abel, aka The Weeknd, it became a powerful theme steeped in raw emotion. In 2018, he released My Dear Melancholy, an EP that wasn't just an album, it was an intimate look into his soul. Abel distilled his experiences, digging into the pain